All right, happy holidays, everyone. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to make a living off of the things that you are most passionate about and how to do it without getting overwhelmed. So, if that is interesting to you, keep watching. Let's roll the intro. Let's go. All right. What's up, everybody? It is Sabo Shen here of the I Am Self Mastery Academy. And today I got a very, very important transmission that I would like to communicate to all five of you watching. So, for the five of you guys watching, hello, everybody. If you could just maybe type in the comments section where you are calling in from, and that would be really great. So, today, what I really want to talk about is hey, Theo, what is going on, Theo? So, what I really want to talk about is being able to turn your passion into profits. So maybe I could start off by telling a story, which is my passion growing up for everyone that knows me is cannabis. When I was growing up, there wasn't a cannabis industry. So it was really hard to think about how I could take my cannabis passion and turn it into a profit. And allegedly, perhaps, maybe I profited off of it before there was a legal industry. I don't really know. But, for today's conversation, let's really focus on different things that I was passionate about. It doesn't have to be cannabis. It could be business. It could be philosophy. It could be spirituality. It could be mixed martial arts. For a while, I used to do a mixed martial arts podcast. Got a whole bunch of sponsors, was able to monetize that. So what I really want to talk about is the concept of really thinking about your passions and how can you take your passion and turn it into a full-time business. All right. And so for many people, that is a holy grail, is if you could do what you love, graphic design, rock climbing, ballet, singing, art as your full-time profession, that would make you very happy. Yes? If that's true, would love to know if that is in agreement with you guys. But for the most part, everyone that I have spoken to, I've been doing a ton of market research calls over the last few weeks. And that is the number one thing that I hear people talk about, which is how do I turn my passion into something that I can monetize? And I used to tell people, hey, when you monetize your passion, guess what? You don't love it as much anymore, because you're thinking about, instead of just doing it for yourself, you're thinking about doing it for other people. But since that time, I've expanded my consciousness to be like, yeah, actually, you could still have the same relationship with your passion even after you stop monetizing it. And it all goes back to mindset. Everything goes back to mindset. And if you truly believe that you could make money off of sharing your passion with other people, there will definitely be a way. If you don't believe that you can make money off of your own passion, then there won't be a way. So when I was younger, cannabis, there wasn't a legal cannabis industry. Now there is one. How awesome is that? When I was younger, I wanted to be a professional video game player, but that wasn't even a profession back then. So when I told people it would be great to get paid playing video games, everyone thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. I just said that more out of jest than out of anything true. But, now that we see there are industries, or actually esports right now is bigger than sports. More people watch esports than they watch sports. So it is absolutely 100% possible to take your passion and turn it into a profitable business. Whether you sell tofu, whether you make dream catchers, whether you teach jujitsu, whether you teach dating or relationships, things of that nature, any of these things, if done properly, if you do them properly, can become a business. So for those that have been following, I've been really talking about how do you increase quality of life without sacrificing your standard of living? How do you take your side hustle and turn it into a full-time business? And one of the things that I've really been trying to do is how do I make sure that everyone is financially abundant? Who wants to be, we got 2 people watching, not a lot of people, but out of you 2 people, maybe do a like or a heart if you want to be financially abundant. So I know that I'm not speaking into the ether, but yes, based on my research, is everyone wants inner peace, everyone wants more confidence, everyone wants to be more self-expressed, but the number one thing is people want financial abundance. If you can't pay your mortgage, if you can't pay the rent, if you can't buy food, well, what good is inner peace? What good is enlightenment? What good is any of those things if you can't do that, right? So I get it. I get it. So the flip side is, if you're financially abundant, but you don't have any time, you don't have time for taking care of yourself, time to eat better, time for your relationships, time for self-care, well, it's really hard to stay motivated. It's really hard to keep working, to keep all of that financial abundance when you're burning out. So is there a way to be financially abundant without burning out? And I can absolutely tell you yes. I live that life. I am financially abundant. I'm not burnt out. I have time to hang out with friends. I have time to come on Facebook at 9:30 in the morning and just ramble. Like, this wasn't something I planned that was in my calendar. It was just like, hey, I finished eating some Magic Spoon cereal. By the way, Magic Spoon cereal, really great. And what am I going to do with the rest of my morning? I just said, hey, let's hop on here. Let's get people excited about being able to hold their own destiny in their own hands. And one of the frameworks that I'm coming up with is, if you got 10 hours a week, if you have 10 hours a week, 2 hours every day, 2 hours every day, or maybe 4 hours on the weekend, that's 8 hours there, 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, and then just 2 hours during the week. If you got 10 hours a week and you have a skill set that other people value, I could tell you how to make $100,000 a year. So if you're a coach, a service provider, a consultant, a healer, a light worker, any of those, I will teach you 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week to make $100,000, right? And so if you think about, what could your life be like if you had 30 extra hours a week where you didn't have to be at work? And for many of us that work 50, 60 hours, well, what would your life be like if you had 40 to 50 hours extra a week? Would you be able to go to the gym? Would you be able to take your significant other out on date night? Would you be able to attend all of your kids' functions? Would you be able to pay attention and be engaged when you're out with people? These are all really important questions to ask, because if you are able to take your passion and monetize it and make money off of it, well, I will tell you from firsthand experience, your life completely changes. So I've had many different lives. I had lives where I had tons of free time, hanging out with friends, partying, having a great time, not a lot of financial abundance. That was still cool. Then I've had a lot of financial abundance, but didn't have a lot of time to hang out with friends and do all the things that I like to do. And that was cool in that my bank account was taken care of and I wasn't worried about rent. But a lot of my own nervous system and the way that I felt, didn't feel too good. So here is my argument for why you should follow your passion. Why should you follow your passion? So there are many reasons. Life, I would say, life could be very challenging for people, especially if you have a mindset that life is challenging. I don't, but I understand why people have that mindset that life can be challenging. And so because you view life as challenging, many of the things that you do, you're not in flow with. You feel like it's hard, it's difficult. It's hard to learn, it's hard to pick up, it's hard to get better at it. And so when you think about the things that you love to do, video games, ballet, bowling, tricking, breakdancing, singing, drawing, whatever it may be, whatever your passion is, chances are it doesn't take a lot of effort for you to get better at it. It doesn't take a lot of effort for you to get better at it. So here's a great example. I love to play the djembe drums. I'm not very good at playing the djembe drums, but you know what? I practice for about 30 minutes a day, and I've been getting, I would say, not really good, but I'm good enough, like where if someone asked me to play those drums, I wouldn't be shy. And so I've never taken a lesson. I've watched a few YouTube videos on how to play these drums, and that was it, and I just started playing, right? And so this is just an example of just something. I've never played an instrument in my life, but I could play 3 beats now, and that's good enough to, participate in any drum circle. And so being able to do this quite quickly has been a really awesome thing. And so I tend to spend my time on doing things that I'm really passionate about. All right. So now here's the flip side. you're not always going to pick up the things that you love doing very quickly, like jujitsu. I love jujitsu, but it took me probably half a year, 6 months, before I started getting good enough at jujitsu where I was getting the better of people. So for 6 months, I was literally on the negative side of having larger men and women, just pin me down, choke me out, twist my arm, make me tap. And my desire and my love for jiu-jitsu allowed me to keep coming back every day, even though I was getting beat up every day. And, I can't say that I liked getting beaten up, but what I could tell you is each time I lost, I learned. So if you do something that you love, most likely you'll pick it up quickly. But if you don't pick it up quickly, you're going to have so much more reserve in the tank to keep going when you hit challenging times. And yeah, when you're doing things that you're passionate about, this is how you express your full potentiality. If you're not passionate about software design, if you're not passionate about being an attorney, if you're not passionate about being a doctor, if you're not passionate about anything that you're doing, well, how are you going to express your full potentiality? Maybe you're just a disciplined person and you could put in a great 8 hours every day. Cool. Right? But when people ask me, how did I design the world's best vaporizer without ever taking an engineering class? My answer is it's because I was passionate about vaporization and cannabis. I'm really bad at math. I was bad at science, but I needed to be good at both math and science in order to design vaporizers. I needed to understand thermodynamics. I needed to understand laminar flow, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, things of that nature, the Venturi effect, right? So like all of these things, because I love cannabis so much and I wanted to make the best cannabis consumption experience, it allowed me to get better at math and science, right? So this is why I'm advocating for people to really double down on the things that you love doing, all right? Double down on the things that you love doing, and this is how you express your full potentiality. So when my kids are older and I tell them, hey, go choose a job that you love doing, and they say, hey, Dad, do you love your job? I could absolutely say yes, of course. And when people ask me, how was your day today? I say, today is an awesome day. It's not a platitude. I'm not just saying it to say it. Like when I was running Vape Exhale, when people would ask me, how's my day going? I would always say it's the best. Because that's what I thought CEOs were supposed to say. Hey, my company's doing well. It's the best day. But now that I live into my passion every day and I'm doing the thing that brings me most alive, when people ask me, how's my day? I truly say it's the best day. Yesterday was also the best day. The day before that was also the best day. All of these days are super duper important. So anyways, that's my whole point here is have the ability, have the courage to follow your passions. As you follow your passions, you will be able to figure it out, how to monetize it. I might be making it sound a little bit easier than it actually is. It is. I am making it sound easier, but it's only because I want people to really get motivated to think about what they love most and to start doing it, and why it's so important to start doing the things that you love most, because this is how you contribute the biggest contribution that you have to the world, is by doing what you love the most. All right. So that's all I have to say for today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop the questions in the comment section. I'll be able to answer them. If you have a passion project, if you have something that is really close to you that you'd really love to do and you're not too sure how to get started, go write in the comments. I'll teach you how to get started. And if anyone is interested in learning more, all you need to do is drop a comment below. I'll follow up with you. Next year, my goal last year was to help 420 people attain self-mastery over their life this year. I didn't hit that goal, but I helped a couple hundred, and that's good enough for me. Next year, I want to make 1,000 people into their own entrepreneurs. 1,000 people to be able to work from home, to be able to have their own schedule, to be able to not be burnt out, to be able to do the things that they love doing without changing their standard of living, without having less financial abundance. If anything, you'll have more financial abundance. And this is the framework that I offer. And it's not for everyone. If you don't have a skill set that is valuable to other people that they're willing to pay you, I won't be able to help you. But if you do have a valuable skill set that other people would be willing to pay, then I'm 100% confident if you give me 10 hours of your time a week, I'll help you make over 6 figures. And I know that's a big, bold claim to make, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm so confident that I'm willing to offer refunds if it doesn't work for you. So if you have a skill, if you have a desire to take your skill and teach it to other people, business consulting, ballet, rock climbing, break dancing, making tofu, playing an instrument, sewing clothes, drawing, cutting hair, whatever it is. If you have a skill that other people would like to acquire, what I could teach you is how to make offers that are irresistible so that when people see them, they're like, yeah, that's the right person for me to speak with. I'll teach you how to find people, how to create leads, how to find warm leads without having a big social media following, without having to have a huge website, without having to create funnels, all those different things. I'll also teach you how to do sales calls and have a great relationship with sales. Most people that I speak to that want to be entrepreneurs, they don't want to do sales. So how do you think you'll be an entrepreneur if you don't do sales? Name a company that is doing well that doesn't do well in sales. So whatever you guys are thinking about sales, like I like to teach people very systematic sales techniques so that they could sell in integrity, so that they could sell knowing that whatever they're selling is bringing tremendous value to their customers. And for every dollar that your customer gives you, you should be giving them $10 back in value. And if you know that, then you'll be able to sell. All right? That's my whole point, is your relationship with sales, your relationship with money, your relationship with doing things that successful business people do in order to grow their businesses. There's a reason why they do them. And what I found is most people that have passion projects, most people that want to monetize something that they're really good at, they want to keep doing what they're good at. They don't want to learn sales and marketing. They don't want to learn how to be a business person. They just want to do more of what they're great at. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine if you want to go work for someone else and have them pay you for this skill. But if you want to work for yourself, if you want to put in 10 hours a week and make $100,000, then you got to get good. You got to get good at writing copy. You got to get good at doing market research. You got to get good at creating offers so that people understand the value. You got to be an expert at knowing how to price. You got to be awesome at knowing how to deliver, right? If you can't deliver on your promise of your offer, people aren't going to buy from you, right? So, for example, I wouldn't be able to keep coaching if my clients didn't get the results that they want. If they didn't get the results that they wanted, I couldn't keep coaching, right? So it's all about being able to be a holistic business person, how to find leads, how to turn them into customers, how to deliver for the customers, how to provide great customer service. And like I said, these are frameworks that I'm very strong in. These are frameworks that, honestly, I could do in my sleep. When I say 10 hours, 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week to make 6 figures. How does that sound? Is that appealing to people? Are you willing to put in 10 hours a week to make that money? If you are, I'd be happy to work with you. Contingent that you have a skill that is worth sharing. All right. So anyways, I think I've beaten that horse dead for quite some time. So let's talk about more holistic entrepreneurship. All right. So to me, it's not okay. I hope this doesn't come off as cocky, but to me, making money is not a hard thing to do. Making money is not a hard thing to do. Now, making money while making sure you're in a good state of mind, while you're relaxed, while you're not feeling overwhelmed, while you're still present with other people, where you're not constantly overwhelmed with the thoughts of your company. Yeah, that can be challenging. That could be challenging, okay? That could be challenging, all right? So, but for me, if You just want to make money, no problem. Super easy. All right, so let me just read some comments here. Let's Go by Theo. Mario Navat, yes, LOL. Anthony Arnall, brother, I'm going to start my gym soon. Your guidance would be highly appreciated. I literally paid for someone to show me how to sell, and here you are. Dude, Mario, Tony, if you guys are the two guys watching right now, and maybe there's a third person, I love it. I love that. I love that. You deserve to open your gym. I know that I could help you. You have tons of people that will give you great gym advice. You know, I could just give you mindset advice on how to really do it. But man, I am so happy that you are opening a gym. Anthony Arnall, he is the jiu-jitsu coach for my daughters. Used to take privates with him, and really happy. Really, really happy. And Mario says money is everywhere. Yes. Yes. So here's one of my favorite sayings. One of my favorite sayings is, if you look at money as a scarce resource, then you will sacrifice your time, health, and relationships in order to attain more of it. All right. Now, if you make yourself the scarce resource, then guess what? Money will inconvenience itself to find you. Right? So when I talk about following your passion, when I talk about really communicating and letting people know what you love, you know, this is what I'm doing right here, right? Like I said, this was very spontaneous. I just finished a bowl of cereal, and I was like, what am I going to do with my morning? Okay, hey, let's go into the room. Let's just talk about what I like to talk about. You know, holistic living, holistic business, spiritual business, enlightened entrepreneurship, conscious capitalism, meaning, you know, like I am a highly, highly spiritual person. And most of the people that I meet that want to be spiritual, you know, they suffer from financial issues. So they can't, when I tell them, hey, meditate 90 minutes a day, they're like, I can't. Why? Well, because I got to work and I have all these responsibilities. And I'm like, okay, hey, I get it. You got Maslow's hierarchy. You got to take care of all of your basic needs first, right? Survival needs first, right? Survival needs first. And when you take care of survival needs, you could start thinking about higher order things, right? So, you know, because I am conscious of all of these things, you know, like I realize that just teaching people how to expand their consciousness, if their finances aren't taken care of, it's like, well, hey, my consciousness is expanding, but I'm hungry. You know, like to me, that's not a very good trade-off. So I want you to be financially abundant, and I want you to be spiritually abundant. And so with this framework that I'm teaching, I 100% believe that you could have both worlds, which is do exactly what you love, make a lot of money, and not have to spend 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And like I said, you know, like I'll put my money where my mouth is for things like this. And I hate to keep talking about guarantees, but I know that what I'm talking about, 10 hours a week to make 6 figures, sounds pretty crazy to people. But this is why I offer a guarantee, which is like, look, I'm so confident in myself. I just want you to bet on yourself. If you'll bet on yourself, then I'll bet on me that I could teach you how to spend 10 hours a week to make 6 figures. All right. And really do it in a way where you're following your passion. You know, your passion is so important. When you're doing the things that you're passionate about, your consciousness is vibrating at a higher frequency. When you're vibrating at a higher frequency, you attract those with higher vibes as well. Higher vibes, what do I mean by that? We talked about emotions. Emotions all have frequencies to them. Anger, jealousy, frustration, those are all low frequency emotions, low vibrating emotions. Joy, passion, happiness, ecstasy, all high frequency vibrations. So for anyone that has hung out with me, you go out with me, you go eating, it's like the server's always nice. The people next to me, always nice. At the DMV, whoever's around me, always nice. Why is it that I'm always around people that are always nice? It's because I'm always vibrating at a high frequency. All right? And my vibration of my frequency has nothing to do with what's going on in the external world. You know, I got a bill for $85,000 a couple of months ago that had nothing to do with me. It was someone else that spent $85,000. I could have been easily upset about it and really allowed it to ruin my day, lower my vibration into anger, despair, jealousy. But you know what? I kept my vibration high. By keeping my vibration high, I was able to find the right people to help me out of that situation. I don't owe that 85 grand. All right. I don't owe that 85 grand anymore. And so what I'm saying here is, just because you're in a high vibration doesn't mean everything is going to be great in your life, but it does mean that like all the challenges that you don't need to face, you probably won't encounter them. You probably won't encounter them. And that's why really being in that high frequency, that high vibration is so important. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you're doing things that you're passionate about, you start attracting other people that are passionate about life, passionate about doing certain things. And when you start attracting these people into your life, like your life gets better and it becomes like this positive feedback flywheel, just more positivity to the flywheel. It just starts spinning faster and faster and faster. And when the momentum is there, it's really hard to stop that momentum, and the inverse also is true. That's why they say misery loves company, is that when you're miserable, you build miserable momentum and you attract other miserable people. And then you have a outward experience that 100% validates the miserable experience that you have in your head. So here, if there's one thing that I could teach everyone here today that's watching or listening, if there's one thing I could teach you guys is this. All right, here, let me look into the mirror. Let me look into the mirror, or the camera, not the mirror, is the way you perceive life has nothing to do with what is going on in the outside world. All right? The way you perceive life has everything to do with who you are internally. So if you are someone that is grumpy, mad, jealous, anxious at the outside world, what I could tell you is that's just a projection of how you are internally. All right? Might be tough to hear, but it's a very important thing to hear, right? So the analogy I like to use, the reason why I was using a mirror is most people are like, well, hey, when the world becomes better, I'll be happy. When I get that new job, I'll be happy. When I make that money, I'll be happy. When my girlfriend does this, I'll be happy. When my kids do this, I'll be happy. When I open my gym, I'll be happy. When I'm able to help more people, I'll be happy. Yeah, so essentially what you're saying is I'm not happy right now until these things happen. And that's how you view the world. So the flip side is most people say, hey, when I see it, I'll believe it. I'm telling you to believe it and then you'll see it. What do I mean by this? Okay, so think about the mirror analogy when I said a mirror. So this is why I said mirror. All right? Like the world is a mirror to you. So if you want the world to respect you, you need to respect yourself. If you want the world to love you, you need to love yourself. If you see a lot of hate in the world, and that's all you see, and you can't see the love in the world, that's a reflection of you. So what I'm saying here is, if you imagine your life as a mirror, and you're expecting the outside world to change your inner state, it's the same as saying, hey, mirror, you smile first. Reflection, you smile first, and then I'm going to smile. Once you smile, I'll be happy, right? So 99% of the world, or not 99, let's just say 90% plus of the world tends to operate in this framework, which is if something good happens in the world, I smile. But those that understand the secret, like myself, is no, I smile first. I make myself happy. I respect myself. I love myself. I value myself. And then the world sees you that way. It all starts with you first. This is why mindset is so important. This is why mindset is so important. If you think that you're in a certain situation and that's the way the situation is, like I just did a call earlier this morning. The person was very, very confident that their schedule and the way their life was set and that they were doing their absolute best and that was the way to do it. Sure. Yeah, in that framework, you're right. But I know, based on what I heard, that there's a ton of other frameworks, but there wasn't any openness to listen to the other frameworks. So in that reality, the potentiality is I need to work 60 hours a week in order to make this much money. The framework of 10 hours a week to make 6 figures didn't make sense to them. So unfortunately, that person will not be able to benefit from it. That's why belief is so important, you know? So believe it first, and then you will see it. You don't always have to see it to believe it. All right, everyone. I hope this has been a useful transmission for you. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday? Tuesday. All right. I'm going to get back to doing something fun, whatever that may be. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll be back shortly. Take care, everyone.